Trending in China, where we dive into the latest buzz around the Chinese economy and beyond.
I can say that Xinjiang's cotton sector combines a cutting-edge technology with natural bounty, making it a non-negotiable pillar of global textiles.
What struck me most was that deserts are often considered as a natural disadvantage. But what I observed is that how people are turning these disadvantages into modern industries.
The mummies I saw were all incredibly well preserved, and I could see their hair, teeth, and even facial features. And what really amazing is how their clothing, their jewelry, and their gestures can reveal their social status when they were alive.
Because the Xinjiang's desert highways in the summer faces extreme conditions, such as the 50 degrees Celsius summer heat. So the husband and wife road maintenance teams, they are the unsung heroes.
It is not only about how the Asian Silk Road is revived, but another example of combining different regions' distinctive advantages to create synergy.
And I think in harsh and rugged environment, simple joys we usually take for granted can become extraordinary experiences.
Hello and welcome to Trending in China. I'm your host, Yolanda Lu, an economic reporter based in Beijing. A couple weeks ago, I paid a visit to Xinjiang for the very first time, and it was really an eye-opening experience. So in this episode, my guests and I will dive deep into the culture, tourism, and local industries in this vast and dynamic region, and hopefully it will give you a fresh perspective on the country's western frontier. I'm very excited to introduce Cao Bing, who has worked extensively in Xinjiang as a reporter, and he has traveled across the region. He will be sharing with us the fascinating stories of Xinjiang through the lens of a journalist. Welcome, Bing.
Hi, I'm very happy to be here.
And also with us is Sylvia Wang, a Beijing-based reporter and a familiar voice from previous episodes. She just came back from a week-long tour in Xinjiang, and she has many unique perspectives to share with us. Welcome, Sylvia.
Thank you for having me back here, and I'm glad to share my first visit in Xinjiang.
Okay, thank you. So, Bing, let's start with you. You have worked in Xinjiang before.
Yeah.
And could you share with us your experience in Xinjiang, and how was your recent visit to Xinjiang different from your previous experience?
Actually, I've been working in Xinjiang for a whole year in 2014. And I've traveled extensively across the region in that year, especially the southern parts of the autonomous region. And last month, I paid a visit back to the southern part of the region, and a decade of transformation impressed me a lot.
What kind of transformation did you see?
Economically, in 2014, the GDP of the region is about 900 billion yuan. But last year, 2024, the GDP exceeds 2 trillion yuan.
Wow, that's a lot of increase.
Yeah. And also, in terms of living standards, the average urban income doubled to 50,000 yuan a year. And rural income tripled to 20,000 yuan a year. So as for my own eyes, I can see the local residents, they are more modern in my eyes. And they are the most hospitable group of people I've ever had, as I've worked in many places across the world, but I still love the people there. And some of it is attributable to their increasing incomes, I believe. And also, the most impressive part of the transformation is the improving infrastructure and connectivity. I mean, back in 2014, the basic highways are very limited in southern Xinjiang. But nowadays, every county, city, prefecture in southern Xinjiang is connected with highways. They will have the high-speed rail soon, so that's you know, most part of the southern part of Xinjiang is desert.
Okay.
Yeah, but now they have the round the desert railway and round the desert highway, so that's very impressive, and it shortens the travel time between the cities and counties. And this time I saved a lot of time on road.
Yeah. I also I was also impressed by the infrastructure improvement in Xinjiang, because across all the prefectures and the cities that I went to, I took high-speed trains from one city to another. So it really saved me a lot of time, because we know Xinjiang is a very large and vast area. Its land area account for around one-sixth of China's total area. So with the high-speed train, that will save us a lot of time, and it will attract a lot of tourists, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It's 1/6 of China's land territory.
Yeah. So it's super large area. And what about you, Sylvia? You also traveled to the southern part of Xinjiang this time, I guess, right? So what's your first impression of Xinjiang?
My first impression of Xinjiang is that it's dry. It's very, very dry. Actually, I thought I was mentally prepared of its dryness, but however, when I really be there, I found that I could never be well prepared for that level of aridity. And every day I walk in the desert, and the hot and dry wind whipping past me, I felt I was turning into a resin, and the moisture in my body is evacuating at a record speed. Well, since I was set out to report on the achievements of Xinjiang's fighting against desertification, I thought I would see obvious results, like lush greenery and the tall trees. They will provide me with shadings. But actually, the reality was different, and many saplings I saw were freshly planted, that just like a row of spring onions. And some had been blown over by wind or buried by sand already. And also, they are about to face months of scorching heat, and honestly, not all of them might survive. So workers and technicians are closely monitoring them and give them meticulous care.
Yeah, this reminds me that I think every one of us in China, we have this planting tree like game in on our mobile phone, right? So I always wonder where exactly is the tree that I just planted.
I know what you're talking about, because it's very common and popular in Xinjiang, this plant. And it has a very, very long root, sometimes as long as 10 meters, so that it can survive to suck the very underground water.
Yes,
And
at a research station, we walk downstairs about 10 meters to see their roots.
yeah. Actually, Uyghurs, they have a very good tradition of planting trees. So if you enter a Uyghur family, you can always see the trees in their courtyard, in front of their house and at the backyard. So for hundreds of years, generations of Uyghurs, they grow trees, they plant trees.
Wow, that's really interesting to know. Yeah, that's very good background information about Xinjiang. And I think what impressed me most was also the sheer size of the desert area. Because when I first think about Xinjiang, I always think about the grasslands, actually, because it's highlighted in the hit drama My Alte. I don't know the English name, but 我的阿勒泰 is very popular in China, and it gave me the impression that Xinjiang is full of this grassland. But when I got onto the plane, and by the way, I recommend everyone who travel to Xinjiang to take a window seat on the plane, because you can see the vast, barren landscape of Xinjiang before landing, and also you can see the snow-capped Tian Shan mountains. So for me, it's really spectacular.
Xinjiang possesses almost all the landscapes you can find on Earth.
So in addition to grasslands and desert, what kind of other landscapes?
Like Gobi, like rivers, snow-capped mountains,
Yeah, right.
and wetland.
Wetland.
Everything you can imagine.
Forests. Do they have forests?
Yes, of course. In northern part of the region, yes, of course.
Wow, that's amazing. What struck me most was that deserts are often considered as a natural disadvantage. But what I observed is that how people are turning these disadvantages into modern industries. So what kind of industries do you see emerged from this vast desert, Sylvia?
What impressed me most was the rose farms growing right in the desert. There's a song lyric goes, "You made me see a single flower in the barren desert." It's a sweet miracle,
Yeah, it's really romantic, right?
Yes.
Rose in the desert.
But while standing in the desert, I saw not only just one, but thousands of roses thriving in the sand. So it really struck me.
I wonder how did they grow this rose in the... Is the rose we always see on the flower market, or is the roses different?
There are varieties that can resist harsh environment like dry and wind.
They use the checkboard to fixate the sand.
Okay.
Yeah, so that the sand will not move and bury the roads.
If there is rose in the desert, I would definitely want to go there to see.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
Yeah, for me, so I went to see some of the country's most magnificent power transmission projects and power storage projects, because we know Xinjiang is abundant in its solar and the wind resources, and so in contrast, in the eastern part of the country, they have a high population density and have high power demand, but they lack this green energy resources. So China has this initiative that sends the electricity generated by this solar and wind power to the eastern part of the country through the power transmission lines. I went to one ultra-high voltage transmission facility, which was located in Changji, is a prefecture that's around 3-hour drive away from Urumqi, the capital of Xinjiang. So they told me that they can send the electricity within 10 milliseconds. That's a blink of eye. They can send it to the eastern part of the country that fast. So that's really impressive for me. And energy is definitely one of the key industries in Xinjiang. So yeah, that's my impression of Xinjiang. And what about you? You have worked here. What kind of other industries do you see in Xinjiang?
So the cotton industry, I will have to say, is the most important pillar industry in the region. First of all, it has a dominant production and global role, and Xinjiang produces over 92% of China's cotton. For example, it produced 5.68 million tons last year, contributing to around 20% of global output. Its high-quality, long-staple cotton is irreplaceable in textile manufacturing and feeding both domestic demand and international markets. One thing I have to say is its unmatched mechanization. 100% mechanized planting and over 90% mechanized harvesting rates. It's leading the world. And also the smart farming. I see from my own eyes, all the seeding process is satellite guided. And farmers use drones for pest control and automated irrigation. So the labors are very minimally needed. Okay, on
For
the
planting cotton.
and also factories are very smart. Yeah, they use AI, digital twins, and self-driving logistics to streamline the production.
It's like science fiction.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you might see from your eyes. You can't believe it. And also, the Xinjiang itself has a very ideal climate for cotton planting.
Okay.
Yeah, it's abundant sunlight, and the minimal pest ensure superior fiber quality. I can say that Xinjiang's cotton sector combines a cutting-edge technology with natural bounty, making it a non-negotiable pillar of global textiles.
Okay, starting from the last episode, we talked about Fujian province. That's a starting point of introducing to our foreign listeners of the lesser-known cities in China. And I want to ask you guys if you want to name one city or prefecture in Xinjiang to introduce to our foreign listeners, what would that be?
Okay, start from me.
Yeah, Bing, please.
Yeah, I must introduce Urumqi to all of you since I've been there, working there for a year.
Sure.
Yeah, it's the capital of Xinjiang, of course, and it's also one of the world's most inland megacities. Yeah, we call Urumqi the heart of Asia land. Yeah, and it offers a unique mix of Central Asia charm and urban vitality, because it's a mixture of modern energy and rich cultural diversity. Yeah, and I would like to introduce some highlights. Okay,
Yeah,
first
sure.
of all, the cultural fusion. Yeah, you can explore the Grand Bazaar.
Yeah, I went there
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, you
for
can
my
buy a
first
lot
day.
of Uygur crafts. Okay, and food like kebabs, and also lively music. Yeah, you can appreciate. And also, Urumqi also is home to natural beauties. The Heavenly Lake or Tianchi. Yeah, you can appreciate a stunning alpine lake surrounded by snow-capped peaks. And also they have a lot of Silk Road legacies. Yeah. So the Xinjiang Museum, they have a lot of treasures there, from ancient mummies to Silk Road artifacts.
When you mentioned the Xinjiang Museum, I want to add that because there's a long hour of sunshine in Xinjiang, so if you go to the autonomous region, you can visit all those museums and a lot of tourist spots until maybe like 7 or 8 o'clock. It's nighttime, like in other cities in China, but it's still open.
Because the sun rises at
Yeah.
around 7 o'clock,
Yeah.
but the sunset is around 9 to 10 p.m. So it has a very, very long day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
long
can
day.
explore the city with so many more hours than other cities, I guess. If you are a food lover, of course, the city offers you the flavorful cuisine. You can have hand-pulled noodles, the fragrant pilaf, and sweet honeydew melons. So, actually, the city has a lot more to offer if you want to explore the city. So, the warm hospitality and dynamic spirit. The city of Urumqi is a captivating stop on your Chinese journey, I guess. If I'm going to introduce a foreigner, to go, Urumqi is of course on the top 3 list.
I was very impressed by Urumqi as well because I really like food. So I went to the Grand Bazaar, as you mentioned, and it's a paradise for foodie like me. Sylvia, what's your recommendation for foreigners?
Actually, it's a tough question for me because it was my first and only visit to Xinjiang so far, and most of what I see were desert, miles and miles of desert. Finding restrooms can be challenging, so a tip for foreigners: if you see a toilet, you just go.
Don't miss any opportunity to use the toilets.
Yeah, that's very useful tip actually. Yeah, it's a long hours drive if you go to Xinjiang. So from one city to another, maybe it takes you 4 or 5 hours. For me, I spent 8 hours on average daily for my week-long trip in Xinjiang. So it's a harsh but rewarding experience for me. Yeah,
still worth it.
Yeah, still worth it.
Yes. And I think some days the places I have been, they could be incredible destinations for tourism. Just imagine that you cycle through flower fields and blooming in the desert. And also you can picture that you're counting stars while listening to an open-air concert and with endless sand stretching around you. And I think in a harsh and rugged environment, simple joys we usually take for granted can become extraordinary experiences. And also, if I have to pick one place now to recommend to foreign travelers, maybe I'll say Hotan Prefecture. It's a good place for you to cherry pick jade decorations, and also it's a good tourism destination. Yes, it has beautiful sceneries and rich cultural resources. They have desert landscapes, and you can walk through an old street and see along the street there are carved wooden doors and windows glowing like colorful gems. And also there are vineyards where sweet grapes turn into rich wine. And also at the city, you can feel the echoes of a 1,000-year-old kingdom that once thrived along the Silk Road. So I think it's not just a destination, it's a vibe.
Yeah, well, that's very philosophical, and I really like what you just said about the simple joys. And I think we always take for granted about the simple things around us, and the best things in life are always for free. So yeah, I really like it. And what I want to recommend for our foreign listeners is a city called Karamay. And you may have heard of it because it's a city famous for its oil industry. And actually, Karamay means black oil in Uygur. And actually, the city's development is deeply intertwined with petroleum development. And for me, when I arrived the city in high-speed railway, it gives me the impression of a rather developed and modern city. When Chinese people, they describe someone as rich, you would say that he or she owns a coal mine, like in his house, 家里有矿. So that's pretty much the impression the city gives me. It's very rich because of the oil industry. But the interviews I conducted with local companies changed my stereotype of this oil-dependent city. So I visited the local branch of the state-owned oil producer, and they introduced me a white oil, which is very highly refined oil that is very colorless and odorless, and it is widely used in pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, and vaccines.
Cosmetics?
Yeah, cosmetics.
You mean they just put it on their faces?
Yeah, I heard because the chemical is entirely safe, and it's very pure compared to other kind of refineries of oil. So it's kind of in the upper value chain of the oil refinery sector. For a lot of brands of cosmetics, they have this white oil inside, but we just don't know. And now we are starting to produce the white oil ourselves in Karamay of Xinjiang. So maybe in some local brands, in Chinese local cosmetic brands, we can see the white oil inside. So I think that's very interesting to me. So I think this really shows how a traditional oil city is moving up the value chain to meet the growing demand for high quality products, whether they are consumer goods or industrial goods. Another observation about Karamay that I really want to share with our listeners is the city's digital transition. We visited this Karamay Cloud Computing Industrial Park, which hosts data centers for companies like China Mobile and PetroChina. So why is the city transitioning into a tech hub? Remember, we just talked about Xinjiang's power industry. Xinjiang's electricity price is actually very low. And a local government official, he told me that compared with the electricity price in Shanghai, the electricity generated by wind and solar power in Xinjiang is actually less than half of that in Shanghai. So a lot of companies in Shanghai would send these computational workloads to Karamay, so that will save their cost, and at the same time, it gives Karamay a new competitive edge. So I think that's very interesting. It's another example of making good use of what nature has to offer to benefit local development. So if you go to Karamay, please go to the Cloud Computing Industrial Park to take a good look at the different Karamay from your imagination. And also there's tourist spot just around maybe 1 hour, 2 hour drive away from Karamay. It's called Devil City, so World Ghost City. So it's really a tourist spot for you to see. It's very interesting when people talk about trip to Xinjiang, they would immediately think of destinations of natural wonders like Altai or Ili, but Xinjiang is also very rich in diverse culture and history. So Sylvia, can you share with us a story of cultural or historical depths during your trip?
As we all know, the day in Xinjiang is very long, so I've been to several museums during my trip there in my spare time. And the museums are usually filled with fascinating artifacts that showcase ancient so-called civilizations. And what impressed me most were the mummies, the special southern Xinjiang specialty. And as you see, southern Xinjiang is mostly desert with almost no rainfall and extreme evaporation. And so the unique climate is naturally dehydrate bodies and slows decay. And also the area was the heart of ancient so-called civilization like Loulan, so there were tons of burial sites.
I have the privilege to visit the Loulan Museum and see for my own eyes the Loulan Beauty mummy. The museum is China's only museum dedicated to Loulan culture. And so I have actually have a glimpse into a 4,000-year-old world. The mummy was discovered in 1980 near Lac Noir. Dating back 3,800 years, it is the oldest and best preserved female mummy found in Xinjiang. The dry desert climate naturally mummified her, leaving her skin elastic, hair intact, and even eyelashes visible. With high cheekbones, a narrow nose, deep-set eyes, and long brown hair, she exhibits distinct Caucasian traits. Her delicate facial structure earned her the nickname Loulan Beauty. And she wore a pointed felt hat with feathers, a wool cloak, and leather boots, suggesting high social status. Her grave included a woven grass basket and a wooden comb, reflecting daily life in ancient Loulan. Actually, I had a chat with the curator of the museum, and she told me that the medical studies revealed her old-type blood and well-preserved organs, including lungs darkened by dust, which was evidence of Loulan's windy environment. Her discovery sheds light on early Silk Road migrations, and it was once exhibited in Japan and featured in National Geographic. She captivated millions, symbolizing the mystery of the vanished Loulan civilization. So, she remains the museum's centerpiece, and almost all the visitors to the city of Ruoqiang in southern Xinjiang will go there and visit her.
Okay, and just like Loulan Beauty, all incredibly well preserved, and I could see their hair, teeth, and even facial features. And what really amazing is how their clothing, their jewelry, and their gestures can reveal their social status when they were alive. So I can't help imagine their life 1,000 years ago. Also, I visited Hotan Cultural Scenic Spot at the night before I leave Xinjiang. It's located near a relic in Hotan County and featuring antique architecture and offering various activities such as performing arts, culinary experiences, and exhibition of intangible cultural heritage. And I went there after 10 p.m. to see an immersive show. And when they told me it was an immersive show, I thought, oh great, maybe the actors and actresses will come down from the stage and interact with us. But no, the immersive means chase the actors and actresses to each corner of the spot and watch different performances.
Yeah, I once watched this kind of show in New York City. That the show I remember was called Sleep No More, and it was really fresh experience for me. Yeah, I'm glad to know that Xinjiang also has this kind of immersive show.
Yes, I think Sleep No More is just what it likes. And by that point, I was really exhausted and I was literally speechless when I realized that I need to run after them. But let me tell you, the ancient city under those lights were magical, and there were all these NPCs in traditional costumes everywhere. Some are dancing, some playing instruments, and others maybe they're reciting poetry over wine or hawking goods in the streets. For that moment, I completely forgot how tired I was, and I forgot about my flight in less than 8 hours later, and even forgot about the news report I was supposed to make.
I know like Xinjiang is at the crossroads of the Silk Road, and maybe Bing, you can introduce us more about the history of the Silk Road in Xinjiang.
Xinjiang is at the crossroads of ancient and modern Silk Road. Xinjiang was the heart of the ancient Silk Road, serving as the vital bridge between China and Central Asia, the Middle East, and even Europe. The key oasis cities like Kashgar, Turpan, and thrived as the trade hubs, exchanging silk, spices, trade, and ideas.
Ideas, I like that.
The region's diverse cultures, from Buddhism to Islam, left a legacy seen in its ruins, grottos, and enduring traditions. Today, Xinjiang is the core of China's Belt and Road Initiative. Its strategic location fuels new trade corridors. First of all, it's a transport hub. The famous China-Europe Railway exits China from Xinjiang, right?
Right.
Yeah. And it's the energy gateway, as you've already mentioned. And it itself is a vibrant economic zone because, there are special zones like Kashgar, which cross-border commerce with Pakistan and Central Asia. So from camel caravans to high-speed trains, Xinjiang remains where East meets West. It's a timeless link in the Silk Road's past and future.
Yeah, this reminds me of my visit to Barko, Balikun, which is a small and beautiful county around 3 hour drive away from Hami. Hami is in the eastern part of Xinjiang and is a gateway to Xinjiang if you travel from the eastern part of the country. So the county served as a critical Silk Road hub since as early as the Han Dynasty, and it's a really beautiful county. I recommend everyone who travel to Xinjiang to go to see Balikun Barko. Its grasslands hosted the camel caravans carrying Chinese ceramics westward to Rome and to Europe. And the county is also abundant in coal and clay, but for a long time it lacks a systematic ceramic industry. So I want to share with you a local government official that I met there. He told me he's from Henan province, and he told me a story that he found that the local Kazakh bridal tradition, in the local tradition, when a bride get married, she will be given a ceramic set to celebrate her new role. But the ceramics are often imported from Central Asia. So he thought maybe Henan has a long history of making ceramics. So why not bring the companies in Henan to Barko to make these ceramics to celebrate this tradition? So he started this new porcelain initiative that is bringing Central China's 4,000-year ceramic artistry to Barko's rich clay deposits. And they will export the ceramics to Central Asia and even Europe through the China-Europe Railway Express that you just mentioned. And I really like the story because it is not only about how the Asian Silk Road is revived, but another example of combining different regions' distinctive advantages to create synergy. And I also recommend you to visit Barko during the summertime, because in winter we will get super cold. And for visitors, it has grasslands, lakes, and the snow-capped Tianshan Mountains as background. Barko.
I've been there once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love the place.
Yeah, it's really slow, right? Retirement vibe.
I love the vibe there.
Yeah. So what about people in Xinjiang? What's your impression about the people in Xinjiang?
The people in Xinjiang, they are the most hospitable and kind group of people I've ever met. And when I visited the desert highway, the couples I met along the highway impressed me the most.
Yeah, tell us about the story.
Yeah, they are the guardians of the world's longest highway through a mobile desert. It's 522 kilometers through the Taklamakan Desert. Yeah, it's the largest desert in China. Yeah. So they are turning barren stretches into fragile but vital corridors of life. I can see that because the Xinjiang's desert highways in the summer faces extreme conditions such as the 50 degrees Celsius summer heat. So the husband and wife road maintenance teams, they are the unsung heroes. Sandstorms that can bury roads overnight, and definitely the most difficult part of it all, the isolation, the loneliness. Yeah.
That must be hard.
Yeah, but it needs maintenance, because without maintenance, shifting dunes could swallow the asphalt within 72 hours. Yeah, they are the road warriors. Each couple guards a 10 km section. They clear sand and the PV panels and guide stranded travelers every day. They use their shovels, solar-powered warning signs, and stubborn determination to do their job.
Where are they originally from? From other developed cities?
Most of them are from other provinces.
Okay.
Yeah, and the couples are most of the couples I met, they are pretty old. And I don't believe young people can endure the loneliness. Yeah, they stay there for like a little bit more than half a year, because in winter the highway is closed, so they go home.
Okay.
Yeah. I think their work embodies Xinjiang spirit. Yeah, turning harsh frontiers into threads of connection. And much like the ancient Silk Road caravans.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I also met a lot of workers or like people in Xinjiang. They are from developed cities or provinces in eastern part of the country, and they have this pairing up program, which will allow them the opportunity to go to Xinjiang to use their expertise to help the region develop. For example, the government official I mentioned in Karamay, he's from Shanghai.
Since you mentioned it, the pairing assistance to Xinjiang policy is very unique in China, also in the world, I guess. The policy is launched actually in 1997, and it's a nationally coordinated effort to accelerate development in the Xinjiang. So, there are a total of 19 developed provinces and municipalities, most of them in East China and Southern China, are paired with Xinjiang's 14 prefectures and production core, providing funds, expertise, and industrial projects. So, 80% of aid funds target grassroots education, healthcare, housing, and environment, lifting millions out of poverty. So, the short-term aid, like early projects build infrastructure like roads, schools, and hospitals. And also there are long-term empowerment projects, such as building industrial parks and creating jobs, right?
Yeah. So and also Xinjiang is very diverse, right? It's has a lot of ethnic groups like Uygur, Kazakh, from different diverse backgrounds. And Sylvia, maybe can you share with us your experience in Xinjiang? What's your impression about the people there?
And one evening in Minfeng County, I was taking a walk after dinner and stumbled upon a performance at a recreational vehicle campground, and the campground is nestled right in a residential area. Okay, at the performance, there were mostly 10 performers, and they take turns on the stage, singing, dancing, and playing traditional instruments. And they keep going for over an hour. And what really surprised me is that I learned from locals that they do this every single night. It shocked me that they don't even need weekends off. And also I saw a few of local kids. They were also watching the show, and they all have long eyelashes, big eyes, high nose bridges, and curly hair. And I sat behind a brother and a sister pair. They kept playfully poking at each other. But whenever the music picked up, they'll stop, and they stop in perfect sync, and they tap their feet and sway to the rhythm. And I found myself completely captivated by them, maybe about 5 years old. She must have noticed that, and she turned around and waved at me. And then she pointed to my forehead, asking, "Are you okay?" Meanwhile, I was wearing a cooling patch because even at 9 p.m., the sun was still blazing.
Yeah.
And her smile reminded me of those fruity candies we used to get at corner stores. And later I asked her brother what grade he was in and if he could dance. He answered first grade, and we learned at school. And then he volunteered and completely unprompted told me, I'm learning badminton too. It struck me how different they were from me at that age. Neither I nor any of my friends we would have that initiative conversation with strangers like that.
Yeah, I really appreciate how you tell the real life stories to our listeners because those are encounters that cannot be read on the internet. It cannot be written by AI, by artificial intelligence. So I think those real life experiences are most valuable.
And I also cherish the experience at night.
So I went to see a lot of mega projects, as I mentioned. So many of the workers of the projects, they are from diverse backgrounds. I remember there is a Kazakh young guy working as part of a rescue team at a local coal mining company in Barco. And he told me that before applying for his job, he ran a local restaurant, but the income for him was rather unstable because, as I said, it will be super cold in Barco during the winter time. So he can only open the restaurant for some 6 months for a year. He was getting married back then, and he thought the income was rather unstable. So he applied for the job at the coal mining company. And now the job pays him around 8,000 yuan per month. That's a pretty high salary, I guess. So, and now he has a baby, and he used the salary to provide for his family. The mega projects in Xinjiang provide local jobs for people from diverse ethnic groups. And really, when they get together to work on the same projects, it really creates a sense of unity, for them. Yeah, so what about food, Sylvia? What kind of food do you like most in Xinjiang?
During my 8-day trip in Xinjiang, the food impressed me most was lamb skewers. They were actually skewered on red willow branches, and the same shrubs I saw growing in the desert. And they only use salt as seasoning. So my actual favorite became Xinjiang pilaf. It's a flavorful rice dish cooked with lamb, carrots, onions, and spices. I think it's funny how magical that combination is. And sometimes there were just only rice, carrots, and onions. Actually, separately, none of those are ingredients I particularly love. So it still puzzles me why they can create such harmony when they are together.
Yeah, there's a signature dish I'd like to recommend to all of you. It's called Xinjiang Big Plate Chicken, 大盘鸡. Yeah, it's famous for its bold flavors and communal dining style. This hearty meal features tender chicken, potatoes, and bell peppers, stir-fried with Sichuan chilies and spices. And then it's braised in a rich, slightly numbing sauce. So it is always served on a very large plate with hand-pulled noodles. So the noodles usually soak up the savory broth, and it's my favorite part. And also it reflects Xinjiang's cultural fusion, blending Uygur traditions with Sichuan heat. It is actually originated in the 1980s as a roadside eatery. It's now a national flavor and favorite, symbolizing Xinjiang's hospitality. And I can always see some modern variations of it, such as seafood or vegetarian options. But the classic recipe remains a must-try, and also I recommend this most because it has this perfect balance of spice, sweetness, and texture.
why I ask about food, because I think food contains a lot of cultural element, and you can always find hints of history and culture in the local food of one region. If you go to the Grand Bazaar in Urumqi, you can taste the food while at the same time visiting a museum of Xinjiang's multicultural soul. Okay, that brings us to the quiz time. So I have prepared 3 questions for you. They're not so difficult. So the first question, how many ethnic groups are there in Xinjiang?
I'm sure it's not difficult.
Who's gonna go first?
Actually, I don't know, but I can have a guess because I've made a lot of friends there. Most of them are from different ethnic minority groups. I guess 56. Because I think all the ethnic groups can be found in Xinjiang.
What about you, Sylvia?
I don't know the exact number, so I will take a guess. And there are 56 ethnic groups in China, and I know that there are no more than 10 of them are not in Xinjiang.
Okay.
So my answer is at least 47.
That's really the exact number. So Xinjiang, according to the latest census, which was conducted in 2020, and the data was released in 2021, Xinjiang is home to 47 ethnic groups, including the Uygur and Han, which constitutes most of the population. So, yeah, so 47 is a right answer. Okay, you got 1 point. Second question, what was the exact date of the establishment of the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region?
I think it's in September.
How many years ago?
70 years ago.
Yeah, 70 years ago, September.
I don't know the exact date.
I know the exact date. It's on our history book.
Okay.
And the answer is October 1st, 1955.
Wow.
Wow.
Impressive.
Yeah, that's very impressive. Okay, you already won, but I still have one more question for you guys. That's very difficult. So, how many land ports are there in Xinjiang?
Oh, a lot of them. I almost lost count.
Xinjiang both has this land ports and aviation ports, but the question I ask you guys is land ports.
Dozens.
Pretty close. What about you?
I heard that there are 25 aviation ports in Xinjiang.
Yeah,
But
because
you ask land ports.
land ports.
Is more than aviation ports or less than aviation ports?
The number of aviation ports is wrong. So,
not 25.
So yeah, but the land ports are more than the aviation ports in Xinjiang.
So you said the number of aviation ports is wrong. It means
so
that
many.
is no more than.
There's not so many aviation ports.
So I'll take a guess. There's no more than 25. So I guess 20.
So Xinjiang ranks first nationally in terms of land ports, with 16 land ports. So this positions Xinjiang as a critical hub for trade between China and Eurasia.
I once worked in Kashgar for several months, and I know there's a proverb locally. Kashgar has 5 ports leading to 8 countries.
Wow.
So the city is adjacent to 8 countries. So the Kashgar alone has 5 ports,
yeah,
including 1 aviation port.
Yeah, very important location. As our journey across Xinjiang comes to a close, I'd like to give a brief summary of what we talked about today. I think what Xinjiang impressed me most was the keyword unity, for me, because the harmony in Xinjiang isn't about erasing differences, it's about respecting, celebrating, and leveraging diversity as collective strengths, whether it's the transmission of power, or it's the pairing up programs, or it is the diverse ethnic groups. I think they all tell the story of unity and harmony in Xinjiang. So that's it for this episode of our China travel series. If you like our podcast, you can subscribe it for free on Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, and Little Universe, 小宇宙. And thank you again for you guys to joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.